Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I need to tell you this story. And then I need you to tell me one. The last 2 years of my mother's life, she was 87 when she passed away, were really tough. Now, she had a hard life. And because she had a hard life, her health went into rapid decline at 85. Now, prior to that, there were a few things, but she was relatively healthy, which was amazing for someone who'd been through what she'd been through, who'd had the lifestyle she had. She was amazingly healthy. But at 85, she had a brain tumor, and that brain tumor resulted in 5 heart attacks and 6 strokes over the 2 year period. And she'd be up, and then she'd be down, and she'd be up, and she'd be down. And she was living with me. She had been living with me for about 15 years prior to that. So I was her caretaker. But it's really not fair to say that I was her caretaker because it felt like she was mine. Um, she always had an encouraging word. She always had instruction and information for the kids. And she would work with them on their homework and she would do all things, even when she was sick. But we spent a lot of time in the hospital in ICU. And I spent the night there every night, except one that she was in the hospital. She was never left alone. She didn't want to be left alone in the hospital, and I never left her alone. I would either sleep in her room, or if she was in um, ICU, sometimes people would let me stay there with her, but sometimes I'd just sleep in the lobby area outside. But they let me stay with her, and I stayed with her that whole time. Um, I remember one day she kind of came to from a procedure, and she's like, "Oh, thank God you finally changed that sweater." But that was the only time I had to go home and change and clean up and come back because she didn't want to be alone, and so I stayed with her. And then when she'd get home, she'd do the best she could, but sometimes she was working. She would do laundry. I'm like, "Mom, you can't do laundry. You got to take it easy." And she always took care of herself, and she was a joy to be with and to be around. But it takes a lot. And I think I had it extremely easy. And I hear from folks who I know are caretakers, and you are doing everything you can to care for all kinds of folks. And I want those of you who've been caretakers to just write a short story or just write "I know" or "thank you" or something if you've been a caretaker. And those of you who maybe you have not, just write a word of encouragement to those who are. I've been hearing from those who are, and it is a hard journey. And throughout this holiday, I'm going to continue sharing the podcast, the stories, the lives, because I know what it's like to be locked out of your own life because you're attentive to someone else's. And I love you for all that you're doing. I truly do. And I want those of us who understand this to encourage it, to lift it up, to share with them, and tell some of your stories. I love you. And I'm so grateful for those who give up their life to care for someone else's near the end of theirs. I love you.